to the Talk and Shed podcast. And this morning, Cody and I are headed up to Michigan this morning. Mm-hmm. So got a nice Monday morning in front of us. We left at a pretty good time, and should be a good day.
Yeah, we left at about 6:15 this morning, and it's 7 o'clock now, so we got about an hour here to give you a little update on what's been going on in our world.
Before the phones start. So It's been a little while since we've recorded a podcast.
Yeah, last one that we did was with the Deutsch guys there, probably about the middle of June. We were up there in the studio, what we like to call it. But yeah, we were up there with Mike Less and Andrew Winkle. Is that how you say his last name?
Yeah.
Winkle. And we were kind of talking Deutsch and stuff like that. And
that's been the big news lately.
Yeah. Yeah, for the most part.
Everyone who follows along, I'm sure you've heard all about us picking up the Deutsch line. It's a good fit. They're a great company, and they're coming this week to get us trained up on those tractors. I think we're sitting on 8 of them right now.
Yeah.
Anything from a 70-horse cabless loader to that Agrotron, that black one. That thing's
the
sweet.
Warrior. Yeah.
That's a 190?
Yep. Correct.
And they've got some bigger ones that I think they brought in this week, because we've got the Precision and Power Tour Friday.
Yeah.
That is basically a road show that Deutsch puts on, where they travel from dealer to dealer across the country and bring in some customers that are interested in demoing their tractors. So that's going to be good for us. But honestly, I don't know a whole lot about them. I've driven a couple of them. They're sweet. They are nice tractors.
Yeah, I mean, as far as visibility and stuff like that, and they've got quite a few bells and whistles on them, but they're not too complex to where you could pretty much throw anybody in them and run them for the most part. One of our shop guys, Sam, he's maybe ever driven a tractor like once or twice in his life, and it's one of those deals where he was able to get in it and run it. But it's they're nice. I like them quite a bit. So
yeah, they're sweet, and a lot of different features. And so as we learn more about those tractors, we'll bring them more videos and stuff to you guys. But I'm excited about the Precision and Power Tour that's coming up this week. So that'll be a big deal. That's kind of why we're heading to Michigan today, because it's Monday, and I thought, well, we should get this trip out of the way, because the rest of the week will be tied up between training and getting ready for the field day.
Yeah.
So it's a good day to head up north.
Yeah, for sure. We got the Canadian smoke kind of shading the sun for us a little bit, so it's not too bright out this morning. But we're
definitely robbing some GDUs from us, that's for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
We'll have to send that invoice to Trudeau.
Yeah.
I'm sure that'll get taken care of.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
No, not much has been new, really. I went down to Eldora Speedway this past weekend.
Yeah.
I'm sure a lot of listeners have heard of Eldora or been there. Record crowd. We pulled into park. Granted, we got there late. We couldn't even find a place to park in the paid parking lots.
Wow.
It was crazy. And we did end up finding a really good place to park. But then we get in there, and me and my 2 oldest boys, we do general admission. The kids get in free, by the way, which is awesome. But we couldn't even find a seat. And we were there for the King's Royal there Saturday night. And it was nuts. Could not believe the amount of people. And we ended up leaving early. They delayed it a little bit, so it didn't get over till probably 1:30, but we were long gone by then.
Yeah, they had a shot of rain there, and it sounded like that. I know it. There Saturday morning in Salina, I probably got about I would say anywhere from 3/10 to a half inch there at my house. And
I didn't get that at the farm.
Yeah, and I know south of Salina, they were getting it pretty much all day.
Yeah.
Is what was my understanding of it. And so they had to delay the race for a little bit, let the track dry out. And those wing sprints go around that track awfully quick.
Oh, it's crazy how fast them little go-karts can zip around there.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot different than the modifieds.
Yeah.
It makes those modifieds look like they're just slow.
Mm-hmm.
And they're not. But, those wing sprints are pretty neat to watch.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it was fun. The 50-50 was $85,000. And you can tell because I'm still recording a podcast, I did not win that 50-50 Saturday night. So we'll try again next year. It got up to $100,000 there Thursday night, though, for the $1 million race.
Yeah.
That was
I
crazy.
don't even know what did they even call that $1 million race?
I think they just call it the $1 million race.
Gotcha.
They pay out They paid out $1,002,000 to the winner, and it does blow my mind that they've got this quote unquote $1 million race. It is a legitimate $1 million payout to the winner, but then you've got the big eluded King's Royal, and they pay out $175,000.
Yeah.
Which maybe, they race there Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Right.
So maybe they do the $1 million race Thursday to get the crowd there for Wednesday and Friday.
Yeah.
And then the King's Royal, they just know they're going to have a crowd.
Yeah.
So that's my guess, is that it's kind of a big filler race to make it a week-long, dang near a week-long event.
Right.
I mean, I was there Monday. I drove through there on 118 on Monday, and there were campers just everywhere.
Yeah.
So I think to keep it a week-long event and keep those people there, they have to have a race like that $1 million race.
Right.
So
right.
pretty neat, though. So since the last podcast, the highly anticipated first ever wheat harvest out at my farm took place.
Yeah.
That was pretty fun.
Yeah, it did. It did.
That was a good time.
Yeah.
We put Grandpa up in the combine, up in the 9510.
Yep.
And wheat is a interesting crop to grow because you have no idea what that stuff's really going to yield. I mean, you might have a ballpark, like if it's going to be fairly decent or if it's going to be pretty bad.
Yeah.
But other than that, you have no idea. I didn't know what moisture it was going to come off. I didn't know the yield. So it's pretty interesting. We just kind of tiptoed into there. And, you'll have to go back and watch all the YouTube videos. But Cody and I seeded that with Salford, with a Valmar seeder, like the end of September, I think, last year. And
yeah, something like that. I don't remember.
We were super dry. It laid there a long time before it germinated, and spring came around. It looked really good. We put some nitrogen on it, did some fungicide, and that stuff did really well. And we had a ton of fun harvesting it. Had my boys out there, and that was a blast.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely a new experience for you and me, for sure. It was pretty neat. It was a lot of fun. It sounds like a lot of guys in our area had really good yields as far as wheat goes, and I'm glad that everybody did.
Yeah.
It was just a different experience. We had to throw out the straw in case it rained because we were kind of in a time crunch on getting it off. And we had had good moisture, had good test weight, so it was very successful for us. So
yeah, we had it off basically in 2 days. So yeah, that was neat. I had a little bit contracted. I'm going to hang on to a little bit here, play the market a little bit, so you get to roll the dice a little bit, and that was fun. And then we really rolled the dice by putting out some double crops.
Yeah, and they're up. they look pretty good.
Yeah.
For the most part. I mean,
yeah. We put out roughly 36-ish acres of soybeans and roughly 19 acres of sunflowers. So there's a gentleman just north of us that takes the sunflowers and processes them for high oleic oil and sells that oil out on the East Coast. So I did the sunflowers because we had our field day, which that's the next topic.
Yeah.
We had our field day in my field, and I didn't really want to be planting double crop beans, the 15th of July. I thought that was awfully late to be successful. And so I planted sunflowers. They can handle the really short growing season. They're a 70-day maturity crop. Are they super lucrative? No. But they're extremely good for the soil. They can dig down really deep and mine nutrients up into the stalk. So, yeah, that'll be a new adventure. Speaking
of the whole sunflower adventure, we got your grain head in.
We did, yes. Yep. I was tipped off by Tony Grody to be on the lookout for, because we've got a 9510 combine. And we plant with a 6-row planter. He said, man, you find yourself a 653, a row crop John Deere Milo and sorghum head. You need to just buy that sucker, and you can harvest your sunflowers with that. Well, it wasn't a week later I found one, and it has arrived. It made its maiden voyage home. We got it unloaded, and it's what I expected.
For what you paid for it.
Yeah. I mean, it needs a little work. It needs, that one has got like the rubber belt attached to the gathering chains because it doesn't have stalk rolls. It's got like a disc bind knife out at the very tip, and it cuts the bottom of that stalk off, and these rubber belts walk the stalk up into the head, because you got to be very careful. Those heads are fragile. You need to get them all the way up into the head before they start shaking and stuff like that. So it'll be interesting. We've got a little work to do on it.
So that'll be the next project for us. But
one of the many.
I actually sent you a video over the weekend of a guy was actually harvesting beans with one of those heads.
He was harvesting wheat.
It was wheat. Yeah. Yep. I'm sorry. Yeah, it was wheat. So yeah, that was pretty cool to watch too. Yeah,
and a lot of times when guys do the relay wheat and bean deal, if they plant 30-inch, see Devin does 60 inches of wheat, 30 inches of bean. What he was harvesting was 30, 30, 30, 30.
Right.
30 inches of wheat, 30 inches of beans. And that'd be a good way of doing it.
Yeah.
That head would harvest that no problem. So yeah, it's a pretty interesting head, and we'll see what kind of trouble we can't get into with that. I know sunflowers can be a little finicky to dry down, because once that head is mature, it faces the ground. Well, you can about imagine how much sunlight those seeds get. So sometimes it can lay wet for a while. Obviously, you're going to be getting into fall. Absence of sunlight, cooler temps. So I don't know. We'll see. Double crops sound fun in July when you're planting them, and we'll see how fun they are in November, December when we're harvesting them. But
and then we plan on putting wheat back out there.
Don't ask me how that's going to happen, but I would love to grow wheat again next year. How I'm going to do it, I don't know. I've heard of guys flying on wheat ahead of leaf drop on the soybeans. It's crossed my mind.
Maybe we could try that. Maybe not necessarily flying it on, but
no, we'll throw it in a BBI. High clearance. Go down through there and spread it on with a fertilizer spreader. Let leaf drop happen. Let some rains come on, and you'll have more wheat than you know what to do with.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah, just got to have the other factor of the rain in there. And if we're able to get that, we ought to have a moderately decent stand.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. That's what's going on at the Walnut Grove. Little side farm Cody and I screw around with. So, yeah, did our first harvest and had the field day there. So let's transition into the field day.
Yep.
If you haven't heard about our field day that we had last week, where the heck are you at?
Yeah.
Hopefully you were there. Had a great turnout.
Yeah.
The field days are mountaintops and valleys.
Yeah.
Leading up to them, you're in a valley. You're like, man, this is, is anyone going to show up? How much food? It's going to cost how much?
Yeah.
We need how many tractors? We have to shut down our shop for basically 2 full days. 0 work will get done as far as actual work for customers.
Yeah.
Because literally everyone on the team is dedicating all of their time to the field day.
Yeah.
And so you're investing all this time just hoping that people show up, and we don't do the RSVPs. I think you reduce the amount of people that show up because there's a lot of people that just wake up that day and say, hey, you know what, I want to go.
Well, not only that, I mean, look at the time frame where we were in. Some guys were dealing with wheat harvest yet too and stuff like that. Well, if it rained, and they had a window to get there, they would have showed up. So yeah, I think with considering what time frame that we were in as far as the time of the year, because in our area wheat's pretty prominent. Just because of all the livestock, guys want the straw and stuff like that, and they're still able to harvest the crop. So I think it was kind of one of those deals to where there were some guys that were still out in the field trying to harvest some wheat yet, but we still got those guys that didn't necessarily grow wheat this year, and they were able to come down and visit with us and come out and kind of seeing what we had going on. Turnout was great.
Yeah.
So we got the mountaintop to where we put in all the work and guys showed up and we had a good turnout. So I want to thank everybody for coming out. That was awfully.
Yeah. Field days are so much fun. Because you get to show so many different things in a short period of time to so many people.
Yep.
Now that the field day's over, we may have a call tomorrow from a gentleman in Indiana saying, hey, what do you guys got for strip till? I want to demo a strip till bar. And we won't be able to do that until obviously this fall.
Yeah. Or
maybe he's got some wheat I guess we could do it in. But at the field day, we demoed planter attachments.
Yeah.
All the Salford tillage tools, strip till rigs.
Yep.
BBI spreaders. And you get to show all of this stuff truly in its working clothes.
Yeah.
And you get to see how well it works, how efficient it can make you, and it really gets the gears turning in a guy's mind. And a lot of times they'll come to the field day and they want to see one thing, maybe a BBI spreader, and they'll leave super impressed with
something else.
Yeah, they're like, wow, I never thought that tool would do that.
Right.
And they're like, I've been looking for something like that. Or I think I've got a place on my farm where that could really change up what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And so you just never know. So yeah, huge success. Probably the best part of the field day was the ice cream machine.
Yeah. Yep.
We, whenever we got our store over at Nova, when we purchased the location, it came with a ice cream machine, and it's just been sitting over there for a long time. And we've always joked about getting it fired up and whatever. Well, we've got it fired up, and we had it at the field day. It was a hit. Everyone, I mean, of course, we fed everyone after the field day. Had a great barbecue pork sandwiches and all kinds of great food. But then, of course, for dessert, we had soft serve ice cream. So I think the guys in the shop have conveniently, permanently ran a water line and electric to this little cubby where the ice cream machine sits. So I think it just happened to work out that we pretty much have a permanent ice cream machine now.
They just conveniently ran electric to where it takes the same hookup as what the welder does.
You might as well not drag out extension cords.
Right. And
just hardwire it.
You'll have hoses laying everywhere and
someone
stuff
will
like
trip.
that. So
just run a permanent line and
Yep. See, sometimes our shop guys are a little bit smarter than what we are.
That worked out just fine. So
But
yeah, field day was good, and I want to thank everyone for coming out. I want to thank all the shop guys and all the employees that spent so much time getting that stuff rolling.
Yeah.
They, the shop was as clean as I've ever seen it.
Yeah.
It was great.
So I want to thank all the guys for the customers that we were able to use their tools. I'd like to do a little shout out for them. Appreciate.
Yeah, we had to borrow a lot of stuff. Some Salford tools, some tractors,
J&M applicator off of a guy.
Yep. All kinds of stuff. So that was great. It's nice to have good customers that will assist with helping other customers. So that's a big deal. So the field day's behind us, and that's when you get to the mountaintop. Is when it's over, because it's a lot of work, and really part of what we're doing today is kind of a result of the field day in a way. We're going to go look at some Salford trades. I've got a customer up here that is interested. He came down, it's been a couple weeks ago, and he came and looked at my wheat field because he's interested in a Salford with a seeder. He wants to seed his wheat that way, and so he did not make it to the field day, but part of the reason why he is this interested is because of the field day and the activity and how he saw the wheat that I had seeded with it and all that. So kind of a direct reflection of that. So it'll pay off. We'll go see what his trades are. So field day's done. The first field day. Now we're on to the Deutz field day.
Now we got another one.
So we got to sweat it this week too to see if anyone's going to show up.
I don't know if it's it's more of a demo day because we're realistically just kind of letting guys hop in tractors and stuff like that and letting them run them and kind of get a feel for them to see if they would be comfortable with having one of these things on their farm. There are some Deutz tractors still in our area today because of other dealers from the past. And they're relatively newer tractors for the most part. So, I think it'll be successful. Like to get some of those guys over. And I was down Friday in Versailles area. That's some pretty big dairy country down in there. There's quite a few dairy farmers down there. Mike Less actually demoed one to a guy that I stopped at, and they talked like they might come up for it. So it's just kind of down there. And
I do think a tractor demo day will be quite a bit different than the field day. There will hopefully be a little bit less preparation. I mean, it's a tractor. It's a finished product. We'll get them to where we're going, and we'll let guys drive them. So I think it'll be quite a bit less stressful.
Yeah.
And a little bit more relaxed. So there won't be the number of people there.
No.
Just because it's a tractor only
Right.
demo day, whereas our field day we were showing so many products to where there was a lot of stuff for guys to be interested in.
Right. Which, granted, and not to say that we're not going to have a good turnout. I mean, we're basically going to be demoing it, like you said, anything from an 80 horse all the way up to almost a 300 horse tractor. So it's not like we're not going to have an array of products.
Yep.
But you're still limited because you're only demoing tractors, basically.
Right.
So, and only so many people are in the market for a tractor right now.
Yep.
So,
yep.
It's a little different, but I still think it'll be good. A lot of our guys that buy stuff off of us, and just existing customers and stuff like that, might take it to where it's like, oh, okay, we're moving up in the world and we're really expanding. I had a gentleman tell me the other day, he goes, man, I can't believe how much you guys have expanded in the last 2 or 3 years. And I was like, yeah, it's definitely been a step for us, and we all work through our growing pains and try to make yourself more diverse, because where's the next step? So it's just a little different.
Yeah, we're always, we're not looking to expand beyond control, but you gotta keep that foot forward, and not the 2 feet side by side,
right?
Because when they're side by side, you tend to fall over. But you also got to be careful how many feet you put forward.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's not a race, it's a marathon.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't want to take every opportunity that you can. Sometimes you just have to purposely turn down different opportunities just to say you turn down opportunities, because if you take every one, that's bad news.
Yeah.
You gotta take one at a time and grow, but grow slow. And so we're not looking to have 20 locations. We're not looking to have 5 locations.
No.
But diversification is definitely key. We're big on the Salford stuff. We're big on the J&M and Yetter
products that we offer.
Yeah, but we need to stay diversified. You can't sit still for too long. So I think long term, 5-10 years down the road, I think that today we finally have got the big shop, mm-hmm. and I don't think we're using it to its max capacity with just the Salford, the Yetter, and the J&M that we're doing.
Right.
And I think the Deutz tractor line can help us use that shop to max capacity.
Yeah.
Get some off-season service hours booked, and just generate some year-round service revenue. Mm-hmm. That maybe we're not getting. Right now is kind of our slower time, I would say, mm-hmm. in a way, because we're still super busy.
Right.
We had the field day last week, another one this week. Like I said, we're heading to Michigan right now. There's nothing slow about what we're doing, but when it comes to the shop, mm-hmm. The guys in the shop are not swamped right now, mainly because a lot of the products that we sell, we receive them between October and April.
Yeah.
So with it being July, we're selling plenty of stuff, mm-hmm. but we're not going to see it until this winter.
Right.
So,
yeah, I mean, yeah, to an extent, but we also have got 6 Salford tools sitting out there in pieces too.
We do.
They're not sold, so it's not a pressing issue. So I think that's kind of where we're like, we're not that busy, but we still got stuff to do.
Right.
So
so it's kind of it's hard because it does become a sprint there in the winter because, you know, we've sold a lot of J&M applicators lately, sold some tillage tools that are on order. Well, all of those things are going to arrive at one time.
Yep.
And we got to get all those built in a short period of time. Whereas today, you know, it's not a sprint.
Right.
You know, crops are in the ground, so we don't have to get certain product delivered by next week so he can use it, or anything like that. So, yeah, it'll be interesting. Where we're located, we've been getting some rain.
Yeah, we have.
I think that we are extremely fortunate here in Ohio and Indiana with the weather that we have had.
Yeah, I agree. I mean,
I don't know. Did you see the size of that cell that came through last night?
I didn't see the size of it. Huh?
It was about 3 times the size of Grand Lake St. Mary's.
So it wasn't very big.
It was tiny.
Yeah.
I was watching it on the radar because I was mainly looking at the weather for today because there was a 70% chance of rain.
Yeah.
Because we missed... Well, to back up a little bit, some of my double crop beans were kind of crusted in. And I was like, man, we need that rain on Saturday. We have to get 3 or 4 tenths Saturday. And I woke up Saturday, you know, okay, yep, it's going to rain. Look at the radar. Well, then it started to disappear. And after it all came and went, I was like, oh, man. So I was looking for the next rain.
Yeah.
Of course. Well, I just happened to pop up my phone at like 5 o'clock yesterday afternoon, and there's this little cell. I mean, tiny. But it's red, and it's heading right for us. And I was like, yeah, there's no way that thing's going to hold together. And I'll be dang. I started to hear it thunder, and it held together. And I don't know what we got, but I think it was around a 1/2 inch.
Yeah.
But yeah, very fortunate. And so, yeah, in our immediate area, and I'm talking, you know,
a 10-mile radius.
A 10-mile radius, we're extremely fortunate, but you stretch out even further, and there's still not much to complain about.
No, I mean, you go, if you would go, I would say 100-mile diameter of the shop, I would say in that area we are very, very fortunate. Yeah, we've been getting rain. You know, we were dry early, and there were a lot of questions early on, like, man, what the beans came on really slow. But man, that stuff has taken off. I've seen a lot of corn tasseling. Since probably July 1, it is probably the turning point. It's really kicked it in gear. And, you know, this Canadian smoke hung around for about a week back there around that July 1 time frame, and then it went away, and now it's back. I mean, it's 7:30 in the morning, and it's a fog. And there's no question that it is reducing the amount of sunlight to the crops. So it'll be interesting how they react. I mean, we have to have moisture, and we have to have enough GDUs, growing degree units. And so it'll be interesting to see if or how that plays an effect. But I think in some parts of the world you're like, oh man, you know, I don't need it to be real hot. I don't necessarily need to have a lot of sunlight. I'd like to keep some of that moisture there as long as we can, but you know, that only goes so far, because you still need the sunlight to help get your GDUs into your plant. So
photosynthesis.
Right, exactly. You've got to create that plant food. So with all that, I think you've got a little bit of give and take. And I think there for that week that we had, I want to say that it kind of helped us, because with how dry we were, we also didn't get as hot as what we would normally. And so,
I mean, it's a double-edged sword.
Right, definitely.
You know, sure, it did conserve moisture, but you're also going to have less plant activity.
Right. Yeah.
Due to the absence of sunlight hitting the leaves to create photosynthesis.
Right.
So I don't know. I'm not educated enough in that field to say which one is better, conserving moisture for a week or having a plant that is building plant food without moisture.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. We'll see. This is a time of year where a lot of guys are gauging their crop, gauging their potential, and then they're going to go through with a Y drop pass.
Yep.
So Y drops are big right now.
Yeah.
This time of year, and that's where our Y drop toolbar comes into play.
Yeah.
You think there'll be many guys running this week?
I would say on some smaller corn that maybe got out there a little bit later. Yeah, I think there will be a bunch of guys running.
I think so too.
You know, I was down in Versailles there on Friday, and I mean, some of that stuff was tasseling already, and there's some stuff down there that looks really, really good. I was down by like Greenville area too, and that stuff that, I mean, the further south of us, I think it, you know, stuff looks really, really good. I think they probably got it out there in that early April time frame. That stuff looks really, really good down there. But, you know, some of this chest high corn, you know, I think there's plenty of that out there yet too, to where guys are definitely going to be Y dropping here this week for sure.
Yeah, the Y drop toolbars have been big. Record year for us on those.
Yeah.
And been having good luck with them. And yeah, I think last week, this week, and then I think even the following. I've got guys running those up into August a lot of times. So those are going to be big. Those things will be running from North Dakota, South Dakota, Iowa, Illinois, Michigan, Ohio, Indiana, Tennessee. I heard from Jamie Hardesty the other day. He is in Kentucky or Tennessee? I can't remember. He's in one of the two. But yeah, it's go time for Y drops, and that plays a big part in our business. We just had one delivered last Wednesday over here by Fort Wayne, and those guys will probably be running this week.
Yeah.
Had the shop guys go out and do a full install on that one. Hooked it up to the sprayer, got Y drops on and all that. Yeah, that went really well. So it's that time of year.
Yeah, I mean, I was up this way here probably about 3 weeks ago, and there's a guy that you sold a Y drop toolbar to, and he was out running 3 weeks ago. So just as far as variations, as far as stages of what corn's in, I mean, you can apply it. You know, I've got guys that have bought these things, applied their side dress application, you know, at that V3, V4, V5 stage. And then go back in whenever it's chest high and apply again. So I think it's a pretty versatile, you know, a versatile way to apply your nitrogen. Not saying that's the only way. But yeah, I mean, guys definitely utilize it and definitely are able to reap the benefits of it for sure too.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, we're approaching 8 o'clock. I'm going to end this podcast with a quick little story from over the weekend. Cody, are you aware of my free range pork that I raise? Yeah. My free range pork.
Free range pork?
Yeah, free range.
Well, I mean, they're... Yeah, you could say they're free range.
Yeah, okay. So me and my boys, we raised some Berkshires. And we're now getting into the free range pork.
Oh, okay.
You know, right now we keep them in a barn. But over the weekend, we transitioned into the free range market.
Oh.
Oh. Yeah.
Okay.
I got a phone call. I was in Minster. I went to True Value because I need to rent a concrete saw. And I was like, well, I want to go check out this saw, see how tight I can get this footer cut down to the floor. And so I went to go check it out. And I'm in Minster with the boys, 2 oldest boys, and I get a phone call from Greg, and he's like, hey, one of your pigs was walking down the road. I said, say what now? He said, yeah, the neighbors have one of your pigs on their trailer. It was walking down the road, and they picked it up. I said, oh, really? And they said, he said, where, you want them to take it back to your farm? I said, no, just have them leave it in that trailer, and I will bring my trailer, and I will come pick it up. I'll come take care of it. They were nice enough to load her up. I can only imagine how that went.
Yeah. I'm thinking the same thing.
Ducky, the pig, my oldest boy's pig, she's the only one that didn't go on the trailer for the last butcher spot, because we're going to try and breed Ducky. Okay, right. Ducky's going to be quite the project, I can tell you that. She's got an attitude, and she likes to wander. Well, ever since we took in those other hogs to butcher, she's been grumpy. She's alone in the barn, and apparently she likes to roam. So I'm like, there's no way this pig got out. Like, how did this pig get out? Well, I get back in there, and she busted a hole right through the barn. Just pushed right through the wood. I mean, granted, the barn, a decent windstorm could blow it over. But, yeah, she pushed right through the barn. It was built in the early 1900s. And so, yeah, I spent my Saturday afternoon fetching Ducky, the pig, from the neighbors. So not only do we raise some Berkshires for butcher hogs, but I can now consider them free range pork. So that was exciting. So I got her all tidied up now. So I don't think we'll have any problems.
So she pushed right through the barn
on the north side. Yep.
Really?
Yep, just decided I mean, their nose and neck is just so strong.
Yeah.
If they want to lift anything or push through it, they will.
Oh, yeah.
And there wasn't a metal panel there. It was just
wood.
A 4x4 with siding wood nailed to it.
Yeah. And
she just decided she didn't want to be in there anymore.
Yep.
She was out looking for her friends. So yeah, I had that rodeo Saturday. Yeah,
you and I have loaded out enough of load of hogs to know how strong those things are, that's for sure.
Well, and they're not bad to load when they're in a confinement barn with metal gates on each side of them, and you're using a hurdle.
Yeah.
Well, when you're not, and there's no metal gates on each side of them, boy, does it get interesting.
Yeah.
Like, we have a YouTube channel. We've got a podcast. We might start live streaming Cody and I loading hogs because it can be awfully comical.
Yeah.
Although I don't know if it would be rated for YouTube.
Probably not. No.
Yeah.
It'd probably be a little vulgar.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's what I'm going to end the podcast on. If anyone needs some free range pork, we've got some available. So,
yep.
Thanks for tuning in, guys, and we'll see you on the next one.
Yep. Thanks for tuning in, guys.